We now turn our attention to boxing, an upcoming heavyweight fight being held on the 26th of October 2019. It's Joseph Parker versus Dereck Chisora. In terms of the betting, we've got Joseph Parker 4-7, to draw 25-1, Dereck Chisora 6-4 as the outsider. It's an interesting fight. It's making a lot of press coverage at the moment after Dereck Chisora's rant at the press conference, suggesting that his fight against Parker should be the main event rather than the unification fight, Prograis against Taylor. He might have a point there, especially where it's being held in London. He's got a London fan base, but maybe it'll become a co-main in the end. You know, he had a serious rant against Eddie Hearn and Adam Smith, so I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually ends up being a co-main. But whatever the schedule is and whatever's the main event, this is going to be a good fight when it takes place. We've got Chisora 31-9-0. So 9 losses. We've got Joseph Parker 26-2-0. So 2 losses there. Parker's 2 losses. Anthony Joshua on points. Dillian Whyte on points. Chisora's losses. He's got 2 losses to Dillian Whyte. 1 by knockout, 1 by split decision. He's got a loss on points to Ajit Kabayel. David Haye, he lost by knockout. Pulev, 2 losses to Tyson Fury. And a points loss to Vitaly Klitschko. So Chisora's got a lot of miles on the clock. He's a very dogged character, but he has been involved in a lot of long, durable fights. So there'll be some wear and tear there for him. But he is going by the name of War Chisora at the moment. So he'll be looking for another battle against Parker. And I can see it being a long battle as well. Parker, you know, still sort of recovering after that second loss to Dillian Whyte. A lot of people thought he didn't show a killer instinct in that fight. Both fighters were hurt. Both fighters went down. It's thought that Parker had the opportunity to close that one out, but showed a lack of a killer instinct and let Dillian Whyte off the hook. I think people are looking at his temperament and saying he seems like a nice guy, seems quite calm, and people say that they're not sure he believes in his ability as much as he should. I think he would have made an adjustment after hearing comments like that. The stage he's at in his career, he's got to kind of put himself forward as a contender to the, you know, Deontay Wilder's, Tyson Fury's, the Andy Ruiz's and the Anthony Joshua's. He's got to be up there. He's got to be number 5, you know, on that list. So he's got to stake a claim. And if he wants to be considered at number 5 or in the same league as those 4, he's got to deal with Dereck Chisora. Chisora's 35 now. Parker's 27. So he's got a good 8 years on him in terms of youth. He should be a fresher. He's definitely a fresher fighter. He's been involved in less fights. He's been involved in less grueling fights. So Parker should be able to get it done. I think it could. He's got, if he keeps it at range and keeps Chisora on the jab like Kubrat Pulev did, to an extent how Dillian Whyte did in the first and second fights, he should be able to win it fairly comfortably. Chisora tends to come in on the inside. He tries to get close, you know, employing a peekaboo defence and sort of marching forward and trying to get in on the inside. He has to get close to do his damage. He's got very painful body shots, Chisora. He really did inflict them on Dillian Whyte, and he did a lot of damage with those body shots. I think also when he knocked out Takam, I think that was a factor as well. He went to the body a lot in that fight, and Takam sustained some damage and was softened up, ready for that big KO shot. That Takam fight is the one that sort of signalled Chisora's resurgence, sort of a second wind. Obviously that's been tailed back now, having lost to Dillian Whyte by a knockout in the rematch. But he's working with David Haye. He's got his fitness sorted. He will have got his nutrition sorted. Haye's strong on all that. So he's in the best shape he can possibly be, and I think he's going to give Parker a fight. He's talking a good game. He's talking in a similar way as he did before the Dillian Whyte fights. He's talking about walking through Parker. I think he thinks he's got that extra killer instinct, that extra sort of, you know, I don't know, sort of, yeah, killer instinct sums it up. Like, he's got a bit more aggression, and he thinks he'll be able to walk through Parker. I think he sees Parker as a soft touch, which is a mistake, I think. You shouldn't think of Parker like that, because he's a very good fighter. He's already been a world champion. He beat Andy Ruiz on points. He did pretty well against Anthony Joshua, I thought. I mean, the ref messed that fight up, I think. He spent a lot of time seeing Parker and Joshua, and we never really got to see a fight. We saw them fighting at distance the whole fight, and Joshua sort of eased to a points victory. But I think these two, the way their styles work, the intent that Chisora has, I think at some point they'll engage, and it could be interesting. If Parker's not careful and he engages too much and lets Chisora get too close, he could be in trouble in this one. He's got to try and maintain some sort of distance off a jab. He's got to work the jab and keep the distance, and he should be okay. He should have a better motor than Chisora, being 27. Chisora being 35, you know, he's got that sort of 8-year advantage on him. He should be able to be fresher, and he should be able to just rack up a points victory, I would have thought. I don't really see a stoppage. I think it might be points. I would just stick to the you know, the odds that are offered just for a win, you know, by whatever method on this one. And I think 4-7 is reasonable. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-2 for Parker. He should be the favourite, I think. Could have been 1-2 Parker and 2-1 Chisora. I think as they are 4-7, so there's a little bit of value there. Chisora 6-4, so I think the Parker price is a good one at this stage. It could shorten. I think I've heard, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I have seen around that Chisora may have split up with David Coldwell as a trainer. So I don't know who's going to train him. I don't know if he's on good terms with Don Charles anymore, but there seems to be a bit of turmoil in his setup. Who knows, Hay might step in as his trainer, but you know, I think if people see that, the prices might shorten a little bit. If there's obviously Chisora's disgruntled at the moment after that rant at the press conference, so yeah, 4-7 at the moment I think is a decent price. I also think it's probably worth putting a small stake on the draw. It's 25-1. That's a very big figure. You know, a small amount on the draw, because I think this has potential to go the distance. So if it's close, who knows? And if you're being offered 25-1, so being a heavyweight contest, they offer big odds like that. You know, it might pay to put a little bit on that. I think it could be close, this one. And although I'm expecting Parker to get the victory, if it's really close, who knows? It could be a draw. So I'd look at that as well on this one. Please give any comments how you see this one going. I know Chisora has a lot of support. He's very popular these days. War Chisora. That's what he's going by. He's got a big fan base. As he said in his rant, selling himself as a main event performer, he did say he's got a big London base. He's in interesting fights. All his fights have been entertaining. That's why he's still showing at the top of bills. People are interested in his fights. There's a lot at stake. I think both of them, it's a must win really. Parker needs to cement his position in the top 5, ready to, you know, face the winner of a potential Fury or Ortiz fight. Fury and Wilder fight. Obviously, Wilder has to come through against Luis Ortiz. Fury has to come through against Otto Wallin. But after those two fights, it's Fury against Wilder. And then on the other side of the fence, you've got Andy Ruiz and Joshua in the rematch. He needs to put himself in a position where he's ready to fight, you know, the winner of those fights. He needs to make a statement. And a win over Chisora would go some way to showing that he's still there. He's still a name. And he's still to be respected. Obviously, Kubrat Pulev is floating around as well. He's in the mix. And so, you know, he needs to really bring his name. But a win over Chisora should cement his name as a sort of top 5, top 6 fighter. And keep him in the mix with the biggest fights in the division. Yeah, comment which way you think it's going to go. Enjoy the fight. It's going to be a good one. And I'll see you next time.